Hello, we have here with us Dr. Ali Makhtar Bhuiya, who is currently working in Evergreen Hospitals, Dhaka, previously known as Apollo Hospitals, Dhaka, which is the only JCI accredited hospital in Bangladesh. He is working as senior consultant and coordinator neurologist over there. Dr. Bhuiya obtained American Board certification in neurology and postdoctoral fellowship in epilepsy. He previously worked in Bangladesh Medical College as a senior faculty and consultant neurologist in VA Hospital, Syracuse, New York, USA. To- Today he'll be discussing about long-term neurological care.
Thank you, Tanvir, for the nice introduction.
What do you mean by long-term care of neurological patients?
As a neurologist, we see a lot of patients with different neurological disease, especially when they are in the hospital. So, once they get the acute care, when they somewhat get better, these patients are discharged from the hospital. Uh, in Bangladesh, most of these patients are discharged at home, uh, and the family members take care of them. So once they are discharged at home, uh, they go into long-term neurological care. Actually, in the Western world, like USA and European countries, these patients a lot of times are not uh, discharged at home. These patients go to a specialized nursing home with or any uh, facility with skilled nursing care, and they receive their treatment there. So, what are the diseases which needs long-term disability? Actually, uh, lot of diseases in neurology, these are very severe and acute, and while they are in the hospital they don't get better completely. They have some problems and they have to continue their treatment at home for months, even years. So among the diseases we see different types of strokes, hemorrhagic stroke, ischemic stroke, and we can see a lot of patients with advanced movement disorder like Parkinsonism stage 5, or patients with Huntington's disease. We can also see different types of advanced degenerative dementias like uh, Alzheimer's disease, Lewy body's disease, Pick's disease, or dementia with Parkinson's disease. So these patients in the advanced stage, like stage 5, they are become bedridden total care patients. So we have to take care of these patients at home. Also, patients with spinal cord injury, uh, when they have problem in all four limbs or only the lower extremities, and sometimes these patients have urinary incontinence. So these patients, they need long term care. Also patients with head injury, so sometimes they have surgical intervention in the hospital, or patients with brain tumor, uh, after operation with significant disability, these patients are discharged at home and they need long term nursing care. And some of the acquired and hereditary motor neuropathies, uh, who slowly become disabled with more weakness in the limbs, they can need long term nursing care because these patients cannot do independent functioning. Some of the patients with severe meningoencephalitis, who do not recover completely, they are discharged at home and they need long term care. And another disease is multiple sclerosis, which is rather common in the Western world. Slowly, these patients lose their motor function and develop urinary incontinence, and they need long term care at home. These are the few diseases which are important to be taken care of at home. Also, like MND, motor neuron disease, uh, which causes progressive atrophy and weakness in all four limbs. They can also need they also need long-term care at home.
Which patients need these kind of care?
So, as I mentioned, the disease with these problems, they need care at home. Besides this, there are other diseases which also needs uh, long-term care, especially patients with orthopedic disease. Also, they need care, or any accident, road accident patients, road traffic accident patients. They also need long-term care, but that is a different specialty.
What kind of services are required for patients needing long-term care?
Actually, these patients, uh, because of their different disabilities, they need a lot of different services, and so that should be uh, taken care of. A lot of these patients, they need uh, assisted feeding because they cannot take feed orally, so they need assisted feed. And patients can also need help because a lot of them, they have urinary incontinence, so that should be taken care of. And so and they had to have to prevent decubitus ulcer. They also need postural change periodically, and these patients also need oral airway secretion management. And some of these patients cannot breathe properly, so they need help with breathing. And they also need care of oral cavity and eye and skin care. And they also need comprehensive rehabilitation at home. So at home. So these are the, and they also need time to time follow up with their doctor.
Where are these kind of services provided?
So as I mentioned earlier, in our countries like Bangladesh and other developing countries, the patients with this kind of disease, they are our family member, either our parents or wife or husband or brother or sister, and it is a very closely knit society. So these patients, once they are discharged from the hospital or acute care facility, these patients have this kind of services at home. But in the Western world, uh, because this is not a family oriented society, these patients, once they are discharged, they go to a specialized nursing home.
Can you elaborate on feeding of these patients?
Most important part of this disability is problem with feeding. Lot of these patients, they cannot take oral feed, so they have to be fed through the NG tube. So this feeding should be maintained in timely fashion, maybe 2 hourly, 3 hourly, maybe 150 to 200 cc every 2 to 3 hourly as tolerated. And the nutrition should be fixed earlier by the nutritionist while the patient is in the hospital. So if this feeding is continued through NG2 for some time, these patients, in some cases, they need PEG tube feeding, that is per esophageal gastrostomy. This is a specialized tube which is inserted from outside into the stomach, and the patient gets feeding directly into the stomach by passing the upper GI system. So this is a permanent procedure. This is only done in patients who cannot take any oral feeding anymore, because we have to remember, NG tube feeding, if it is kept for a long time, there is always chance of aspiration and pneumonia. So to prevent this, if any patient needs long-term NG tube feeding, it is best to give this patient's feeding through PEG tube.
What do you mean by urinary incontinence and how you address this problem?
So a lot of these patients they lose their control of urine. So they just wet their uh, pants or bed. So they need a if it is long term, diaper can be used, and if it is for short period, the urinary incontinence, we can use a indwelling catheter. And if the indwelling catheter is used for long time, there is always chance of urinary tract infection or UTI development. So indwelling catheter should not be used for a long time, and if it is used, it should be frequently changed. And those patients, especially with multiple sclerosis or spinal cord injury patients who have paraplegia and that is weakness in the lower extremities with urinary incontinence, self-catheterization can be done. This can be taught to the patient or patient's family, and it should be done with very much aseptic precaution. Most important for us is to remember that because of bedwetting, their perineal area or buttock area is soiled up. So these areas should be regularly cleaned so that patient does not have any secondary infection.
How you take care of patients' breathing, oral secretion, and tracheostomy care?
Actually, a lot of these patients who have NG tube feeding has severe brain disease like stroke or MND or even myasthenia gravis patient or spinal muscular atrophy patient, uh, advanced dementias or Parkinsonism. They cannot swallow their saliva. So the saliva comes out from the mouth, and some of them they go into the lung. So periodically the saliva should be sucked out through a sucker machine, which can be either a mechanical sucker machine or electric sucker machine. If it is not done properly, then this secretion goes slowly into the lung, and there is always chance of infection or pneumonia. So it is very important to take care of their oral secretion. And there are some medicine which can be used to decrease the oral secretion, but it is not helpful after certain period. And some of them they need home oxygen. If home oxygen when they have chronic hypoxemia, we have to remember that oxygen saturation should be more than 90%, and it should be around 95-96. So if the oxygen saturation is low, less than 90, we can sometimes use home oxygen therapy, and we can check the oxygen saturation by special device which is called pulse oximetry. So this should be checked from time to time. Another issue is a lot of patients while they are in the hospital in the ICU, they need and they have been on mechanical ventilation for some time, they need tracheostomy tube. So once these patients come out of the hospital, in some cases they have tracheostomy tube. So this is a special tube which is inserted through the neck, and it helps in bronchial toileting and helps in suctioning of the secretions, oral secretion or tracheal secretion, which helps in maintaining a good oxygen saturation. So suctioning can be done through the tracheostomy tube oxygen saturation also should be maintained above 90 to 93%. And this tracheostomy tube sometimes needs to be placed permanently in certain diseases, but sometime with time we can withdraw the tracheostomy tube, and that should be done by a ENT specialist. So those patients who have tracheostomy tube, they should be evaluated by the ENT specialist from time to time. And some patients, especially patients with MND, they have progressive development of respiratory problem, so they cannot breathe on their own because of neuromuscular weakness. So these patients need a special machine like BiPAP machine for their breathing. That also should be learned how to use these machines by a respiratory medicine specialist.
What do you mean by neurorehabilitation?
Actually, as I mentioned earlier, a lot of neurological disease patients, they have different kinds of disabilities when they are discharged from the hospital. They have motor disability, they have problem with fine movement, they have speech problem, language problem. So to address the motor weakness, like they can have weakness or paralysis partial or complete on one side of the body. Sometimes they can have paralysis in the lower extremities, or all four limbs or three limbs. So to address this motor disability, they should have regular physiotherapy, at least twice a day by an expert physiotherapist, and the family member also should move the paralyzed limb every 2 hours, so that they don't develop any contractures, or they don't develop any DVT or deep venous thrombosis. Actually, a paralyzed limb has high chance of developing blood clot in the veins. So to prevent this, these patients should have their limbs moved from time to time. Another issue is if these patients for fine movement like writing, eating, that is fine coordinated movement, this patient can also get some occupational therapy by a specialist. And also a lot of them develop language problem, that is aphasia, understanding of language, expression of language is a problem, so they should be seen by a speech therapist. Also, if patient has slurred speech therapist can deal in that issue. Another job of the speech therapist is to see whether patient can swallow food orally who has NG tube. In the long run, if these patients can take food orally without any problem, so the NG tube can be withdrawn, and this should be also assessed by a speech therapist. And these patients slowly, if they are improving, they should have wheelchair mobilization. That means a wheelchair should be used to mobilize these patients around. We have to remember, if patient is always bedridden and lying down, these patients are very vulnerable for developing bed sores or decubitus ulcer. And once it develops, it is really challenging to address this issue. So patients with long-term care, they should have always the posture changed every 2 hours. They should be allowed to sit in bed with support, and if they are better, they should be mobilized in a wheelchair. And if their motor weakness is improving, they can also get wheelchair, they can get walker, and in the long run they can use a cane under the supervision of a physical therapist. We have to remember, these patients, they are very vulnerable for falls and fall is always risky. So if they fall, there is always chance of head injury. Also, there is chance of hip fracture. So preventing falls is very, very important. Uh, so we have to make sure these patients with motor disabilities do not fall. So they should be always kept in a very safe environment with less furniture in their room, and patient environment should be safe, and the room should be well lit.
What do you mean by posture change and what is its merits?
As I mentioned, these patients they are very vulnerable for developing decubitus ulcer uh, or bed sores. So once these patients were bedridden, every 2 hours they should be put on one side. After 2 hours, they should be put on the other side, and we can place a pillow on their back. So this helps uh, to prevent uh, bed sores. And if we do not do, and they are lying on their back for hours together, always these patients are very vulnerable for developing bed sores. So always posture change should be done every 2 hours, and also the limb movement can be done by the family member.
What is the importance of eye care and oral hygiene?
So, lot of these patients with severe disability, they cannot take care of themselves, especially patients with strokes or advanced Parkinsonism or advanced dementia, uh, and even multiple sclerosis, who have significant cognitive disability and motor disability. So these patients, to keep the oral cavity, gums, and teeth healthy, they should have uh, oral hygiene maintained very properly through regular gargling, dental flossing, or some antiseptic uh, gargles, so that the oral cavity remains clear and chance of infection is low. Also, their eyes should be clear and healthy, because if it is soiled or infected, it can cause uh, uh, conjunctivitis, ophthalmitis. So always we can use some kind of eye drops, antibiotic eye drops, or artificial tears to keep the eyes healthy.
How important is regular follow up with the neurologist?
So these patients, once they are discharged home and need long-term care, uh, these patients should be under regular follow-up with their neurologist, because these patients have other comorbid condition. Lot of patients like strokes or dementia, Parkinson's, and other disease. They can have high blood pressure, that is hypertension, diabetes, uh, hypercholesteremia, heart disease, rheumatological disease, arthritis, osteoarthritis, osteoporosis, and other disease. So all these issues should be addressed and regularly, so that it is well under control. Like patients with stroke, if the blood pressure is not well controlled, or diabetes is not controlled, or cholesterol is not controlled, there is always chance of re-stroke. So somebody having stroke, 8 to 10% chance of stroke is there per year. So if these vascular risk factors are not controlled, the patient developing other secondary complications is very high. So it is very important these patients are followed up by their neurologist. Besides this, because these patients have different extra roots, uh, like NG tube feeding, they can have catheter, or they can have tracheostomy tube. Uh, all this makes these patients vulnerable for different kind of infection. Like if they have tracheostomy, there is always chance of pneumonias. If there is oral secretion is very high, if it is the suctioning is not done properly, there is always chance of infection. If the NG tube, through the NG tube, they can always there is always chance of developing infection or pneumonia. If they have catheter, there is a chance of developing urinary tract infection. And because these patients are lying down, they can develop bed sores. And in an immobile or weak limb, there is always chance of developing deep venous thrombosis or DVT. So all these things should be properly addressed so that these patients don't develop any complication. Besides this, these patients cannot express lot of their problems because maybe because of cognitive dysfunction or language dysfunction or speech problem. So lot of things we have to see from outside and assess whether patient is having any problems. If there is any fever, any signs of increased breathing difficulty, or having infected bed sore, or patient is having confusional state, drowsiness, restlessness, sleep disturbance, all this should be addressed by the consultant neurologist who is seeing this patient. So all these issues should be addressed from time to time. Sometimes it's very difficult to assess this patient, and sometimes we have to bring these patients to hospital to find out the exact reason why this patient's clinical status has worsened. Is it a pneumonia, or electrolyte imbalance, or new stroke, or any infected bed sore, or any UTI, or any kind of sepsis? So all these issues can be properly assessed in a hospital setting, and by just seeing the patient, it is very difficult and challenging, because unless we do a proper diagnosis, we cannot treat or address these issues very effectively. Thank you very much for your patient hearing. I tried to highlight the important issues in long-term neurological care. I hope it will be very helpful for our patients, families, and also the doctors. Thank you for your attention.